Good evening, folks. It's Diamond with the Oppenheimer Ranch Project and Magnetic Reversal News, bringing you the news you need to know Saturday, December 7th, 2019 at midnight, Mountain Time. Now, I just got back from a trip from Rex Bear, Leah, and Alien Allen. We were looking for the underground tunnels that lead to Archuleta Mesa, and we have some inside information that's going to reveal that information to us in the near future. So stick with us. As the models show heavy snow in the upper Midwest and a lower swath in the southeast, take a look. That's coming this midweek, Wednesday through Thursday. It's going to bring a white winter, a white Christmas to most of the people in the northern 48. We're only looking 200 hours out, so the models are limited. But keep calm. It is boom time, and you're here. A storm brought some of the largest waves ever recorded off the California coast last week. One was 75 feet tall. This is a sign of the times, and here they're showing the East Coast with a storm. Imagine that. The bomb cyclone that pounded the West Coast last week brought with it some of the tallest waves ever recorded off the coast of California. Now, this is ever recorded in the last 200 years, but we should be seeing waves, the likes of which we've never seen before because we are in a new paradigm. A monstrous 75-foot wave was recorded 20 miles off the coast of Cape Mendocino in Northern California, according to the University of California, San Diego Coastal Data Information Program, which is tonight's first wave boom, a boom of the wave kind. Next round of snow and Arctic blast to arrive next week. Holy twig! Madison, you're in the crosshairs. That's Wisconsin. Early week system will spread snow from the Rockies to the Great Lakes and possibly parts of the east. A low pressure will emerge in the plains Sunday into Monday. This system will likely push off the East Coast by Wednesday. Snow is expected from the Rockies to the northern plains and the Great Lakes. Some snow may also fall in parts of the east. Rain is expected in the south along the East Coast. What about that whole stringer of snow we saw? Elderly couple found dead buried under the snow as record cold is predicted to hit the Midwest this midweek. This couple may have been covered in snow for an entire week, and the area they were found was Ash Fork, where we were potentially setting up a secret community for those of you to freeze your arse off. Snow blankets north of Flagstaff, Arizona, Friday, November 29th. An elderly couple that has been buried in snow in Arizona for an indeterminable amount of time was found dead on Friday, according to a statement from the Yavapai County Sheriff's Office. The couple was identified as Ash Fork residents Richard Alexander, 74, and his wife, Elizabeth, 79. The statement said they were found a few minutes' walk from their own home, according to the man who discovered their bodies, and just 100 meters from his home. Ash Fork is a rural community west of Flagstaff where Secret Valley was going to be. Causes of death for both husband and wife are pending. A preliminary finding shows no evidence of foul play and a strong likelihood the pair and the man froze to death in the front of this guy's home that found them. The couple's car was found abandoned 1 mile away. The bodies were discovered noon on Friday when Michael Haas and his wife Diane drove their pickup out of their gate and saw something peculiar. Michael Haas told CNN his wife thought it was a dead animal, but Haas spotted blue jeans and said, "I think it might be a body." Proper prior planning prevents being buried in the snow. And now look at what these guys did. Haas says he and his wife have now put together an emergency kit for each of their cars. I think when people travel, it's in bad weather. They should have blankets, phone chargers, emergency equipment, and other things in their vehicle. I can't agree more. It could have saved the lives of these people that were just 100 meters from his home. Snow on track for southwest Montana on Sunday, which will be their fun day in Big Sky, 6 to 8, predicted. Cook City, 12 to 16. Hello. A cold front will swing through Montana for your Sunday and will issue much colder air in place. Record cold along with showers. There are winter weather advisories out for the area through Sunday evening. Most valleys can expect 1 to 3 with 3 to 6 at pass level. The heaviest snow is expected through early afternoon on Sunday and clearing up Sunday evening. Heads up, Montana. A mild Saturday. Update on the Sunday night, Monday snow. This is in Minnesota. Say it ain't soda. Most of Minnesota and western Wisconsin will have a Saturday afternoon highs in the 30s. It'll be balmy. They'll be swimming out there. A few in the upper 20s in parts of the north central Minnesota region. Some spots far north will be in the 40s. Wow! So they're really pushing on this global warming there. It's going to be hot up there. It might even break 40. But take a look what happens quickly thereafter. 6 degrees, followed by, whoa! Wednesday morning lows are minus 18, minus 19, and minus 20. That ain't funny. That's freeze the elderly couple in the snow cold. Let it snow, snowfall totals so far this season. Sequoia and Kings National Park buried. Heavy snow falls Kings National Park to close its entrance temporarily on the 29th. Yosemite, China Peak, Tahoe, 40 inches this year. Big Bear, records, we've told you. All-time records at Big Bear. And winter is weeks away. In the upper 48, disruptive lake effect snow possible on Wednesday. Bands of lake effect snow will set up east of Lake Erie. Tuesday night, periods of heavy snow are possible. This follows, wait a minute, we have no video. Let's get us on here. This follows the record cold that's going to descend on the Midwest starting Tuesday, which is their lose day. Buffalo, New York, the season has gotten off to a fast start. Much of western New York in record snow territory. But the lake effect machine has been fairly quiet. That will change next week as a round of Arctic rushes into the area Tuesday into Wednesday. That cold air will come on the heels of a storm that will bring rain and breezy conditions Monday, keeping the lakes unfrozen and the lake effect system to go into boom mode. That's boom mode. That's like a mode of boom. Let me turn that down for you. Now, if you don't know, I just did a podcast with Rex Bear, and you got to watch it. We're going to shout it out at the end of the show here. As a large storm system will impact the western U.S. this weekend, a large storm system will deliver widespread impact to the western U.S. Winter storm warnings in effect everywhere in purple, which is a lot of counties, hundreds of counties in winter storm warning and watch right now. And the entire Sierra is in winter storm warning and watch. A number of coastal hazards will likely cause travel issues. Locally heavy rain in north central Cali and southwestern Oregon may cause flash flooding issues, especially near the burn scars. So click on your county, go to weather.gov for your safety measures, and be a Weather Ready Nation ambassador. Prepared, not scared. Weather happens all the time. Catastrophes are inevitable. Be prepared. Now we actually have 246 hours out, so we can kind of take a better look at the picture here. And you can see that snow moving into the southeast that we were reporting on the other day. It looks like Arkansas and Tennessee and North Carolina, big winners. That could be a big system coming through North Carolina. So we're going to be watching this through December, the first 3 weeks of December, the next 2 weeks of your lives, where we could see a heavy snow dump here in North Carolina and South Carolina, as well as the lower portions in central Texas, the nexus of the schmexes. Can you imagine that? While we pick up epic amounts of dumps in the northern Rockies, moving all the way up through Wyoming, and the totals in BC are amazing. The skiers there are elated at the situation. PG&E announces $13.5 billion in settlement. Holy clam roly! That's a lot of bank rollies. Benjamin's much? 3.5 billion of them. And PG&E will probably continue to be propped up by the powers that be as they light your houses on fire. Fire! Just like they're burning most of Sydney. Smoke fills the city from Australia's bushfires, which have become too big to fight. Too big to fight. Yeah, that means they want it to burn. Seismic update, no quakes of note except for this rare quake of McElroy, 2.6 in Ohio. I'm sure that's got knickers in a bunch up in that region. There was also a northern Canada quake yesterday. Hello, Appalachian Fault Zone. On the alert. New Madrid much? Eruption detected at Somesopochnoy in Alaska in the Aleutians. Now, eruption signature was detected at Semi-Sopochnoy, but no one could confirm it from satellite. This is how remote this fucking region is. There's like no data. It's like Shmeda. What did I just say? Carbon emissions from volcanic rocks can create global warming, according to study. We called this out a week ago, how much nonsense it was, and people are picking up with it and rolling with it. They're now claiming that volcanic ash warms the planet. The exact opposite is true. The albedo effect kicks in, and it's called global cooling. When you get volcanic particulates in the atmosphere and the troposphere. I mean, are you kidding me? They're now going to reverse basic science and say that volcanoes cause global warming because they contain CO2. When not a single volcano that ever erupted did anything but rapidly drop global temperature based on facts, science, and facts. It's almost like they don't even care about facts or science. They are now saying that because volcanoes emit CO2, that they cause global warming, because that's what the IPCC says. The IPCC says it, and it's based on no scientific information whatsoever. So we're going to roll with it. Greenhouse gas emissions released directly from the movement of volcanic rocks are capable of creating massive global warming effects, except none have ever been determined ever except based on modeling. The only facts associated with volcanic eruptions are that they cause rapid global cooling. Volcanic eruptions cause rapid global cooling. They never, ever, infinity have ever caused global warming, ever. Ever. Based on science, theory, facts, the replication of those facts, and the replication of those theories. Global cooling only. Volcanoes result in global cooling. If you don't believe me, then you're being fooling. I'm going to do a whole video on volcanoes cool the earth. Just because this article came out, which is a sharticle, by the way, from the University of Birmingham. And if you have time, you can contact them and stick your foot right up their ass and tell them Diamond sent you and say, look, there is no evidence ever, not a single paper, not even a schmaper, not even a sharticle, except yours, that claims that volcanoes can warm the earth. They were alluding to it last summer when they said, oh, climate change is causing volcanoes to erupt. But they didn't realize at that time that erupting volcanoes cool the planet. So how global warming, if it causes volcanoes to erupt, is a boon to global warmers because then it will cool the planet. Exactly what they want. But they don't want the planet to be cooled. They don't want anyone to be safe. It doesn't matter. According to the alarmists, no matter what we do, it's not enough. It will never work. And we've destroyed the planet. It's all your fault that we have technology and that there's heat due to fossil fuels and that you're comfortable inside the house now and you get billed by a company that keeps you warm. It's all your fault that that happens. And we need to end that now so you can be homeless and freezing your ass off. But the facts are in according to University of Birmingham Shartiversity. Worldwide Volcano News Update. Intermittent pops and passes from multiple volcanoes. And if you care, you take your asses right to this and not watch my show and look for the link. North Korea says it's conducted a significant test at a missile site, which means it's about to blow someone's ass up and get its own ass blown up. That's what that means. It's called posturing before the main event. Are you ready? It's coming. It's coming. When has there not been a war since you've been alive? Never. There's always a war and we're in a lull. We tried to go to Syria, but the population blocked that. And now we're going to hit Iran or Korea. Who knows? It's going to be amazing. The backward march of civilization is inevitable. But it has nothing to do with anti-vaxxers. But this article wants you to believe that anti-vaxxers are the reason we're marching backwards. Did you know that over 7 million people in Samoa got the measles recently? That's 3 times the population of Samoa. That's what I read. It's crazy where they're at. Measles outbreak in Samoa shows what can happen when vaccine opponents prevail. How about when people can't get vaccines as much as they do in developed countries? How about that? And then you jail the people that are against thimerosal, which is mercury in injections for newborn babies. You're sick. Humans, adults even, shouldn't get thimerosal in an injection. But because the FDA says it's safe, it's in all vaccines. It keeps them long shelf life. That's what we're looking for. They're looking for long shelf life so they can inject this shit into your ass. Duh! And if you want to get measles, it's on you. Only 1 out of every 180,000 cases dies. That's a pretty good average. You have a better chance of dying if you're an alcoholic. You have a better chance of dying if you take opiates from a pharmacy. You have a better chance of dying if you ride a bike. 1 in 160,000 bike riders die in an accident. Yeah, it's the most deadly activity on the planet. Nobody Googles it. They think skydiving is dangerous. Did you know that skydiving and ice climbing are the safest sports on Earth? And you thought they were dangerous. Bike riding, hello! It's because everyone's texting while they're biking. Oh, did you see my Facebook? Boom! Thank God you're missing. Gamma ray laser moves a step closer to reality. Do you know what this means? Yes, it means gamma ray lasers and the laser beam is coming to space, including applications for medical imaging, cancer treatment, and world catastrophe. We could blow up the moon with a gamma ray laser, says many. Now, a physicist at the University of California, Riverside has performed calculations showing hollow spherical bubbles filled with the gas of positronium. It's like Back to the Future. Are stable in liquid helium, and they could explode the moon with a laser beam. Or your cancer, however you want to look at it. There's good things and bad things from all technology. Yeah, like poverty. Get ready for what could be the biggest meteor shower of the poorest year of your life. Once again, it's almost time to watch the Geminids, because it's not watching TV, because it's simply brainwashing you as a... And this is the free TV show. The Geminids are active every year in December as we pass through the debris field, as BP Earthwatch would say, left behind by 3200 Phaethon. And it's usually quite a sight. So get out there and look up. While Phaethon is not quite confirmed as a comet or asteroid, it has left behind a lot of debris for our planet to find, and thus we are usually catch a spectacular show each year as a result. The Geminids meteor stream in itself usually has more mass than any other show that is kissing your mass up in the sky. Pyramid-shaped 427-foot asteroid set to whiz past Earth. Holy pyramid! The space rock will fly harmlessly past our planet asteroid VH5, which is probably the 5th iteration of VH1. 2019 will make its flyby at about 17.9 lunar distances. Did you even watch VH1? That was like the elevator music of... Anyway. On December 8th, that's tomorrow. Hello, close flyby. Anything could happen. Keep your eyes to the skies. As Dabu7 says. Dabu777. Space photo of the week. And others. And Parker's potential. NASA's new solar probe is racing towards the sun. Here's what it will see once it gets there. Well, how do they know that? Doesn't it seem like a setup? Seems kind of stupid. Saturn can take a back seat. Did NASA just find rings around the sun? Or is that ring around the rosy? Pocket full of posy. I had no idea that a podcast could be this fun and that there was a ring around the sun. Think of just one stereotypical object in space with rings, and Saturn is probably will come to Uranus. While Saturn's rings are gnarlingly obviously, whatever that word is, and hide enough of their own weirdness, not all celestial rings are so flashy. Did you know that Venus has a ring? How about Uranus? How about Mercury? And how about the sun? The sun is already a cosmic disco ball. Let's add a ring to the ding. And let's ding ding. I didn't even read the article. But you should, because I have to get to it. Anyway, even 50 years ago, climate models were way more accurate than deniers claim. That's because climate models 50 years ago were way more accurate than the current IPCC shit models of the hockey stick. And if you read this article, it's going to delve into that and say, hello, the hockey stick is all hypothetical. And it's not really going to say that, but it's going to say a bunch of crap that's going to piss you off. But this paper is going to make you happy. An overview of scientific debate on global warming and climate change. Now, this is coming from Akhtar S. at the Department of Geography, University of Karachi in Pakistan, from the scholar Rina, and he got this published in an It's amazing. And why it's amazing is because he uses not so harsh terminology, but he basically sells out the IPCC and all of climate change as being a shark. Climate change is not a new phenomenon. The paleoclimatic studies reveal that during Pleistocene and Holocene periods, several warm and cold periods occurred, all of which are well beyond any of the changes that have occurred in the last 200 years. That's what the paper concludes. And it concludes that all of the IPCC models are for setting policy and not for setting science. And that there are thousands of things that those models leave out that we covered in a video we just tacked on air days ago. Water vapor is the overwhelming primary greenhouse gas, not CO2. And they cover it. The effect of urbanization and urban heat island. As we move our weather stations in these regions, we're getting false readings. Global distribution of climate stations and data bias. They're specifically picking the hotter stations over the colder stations because they have a narrative to fill. They need the funding. Credibility of IPCC is questioned. It's been questioned with Climate Gate 1, Climate Gate 2, and so on and so forth. And you know what's happened? More adjusting of the data towards the warm. There is no reconciliation of the climate gates whatsoever. The fraud is upon us by NASA and NOAA. They are complicit. They will be exposed in the future, and it will all be a sham. But it doesn't matter because of the situation we're in. The magnetic reversal and the cosmic catastrophe that we're entering will erase any memory of this forever. And they know this, which is the topics we're going to be discussing at LeCon Gaia, April 4th, 2020. It's called the Cosmic Cover-Up. The CIA was invented and staffed by the very people that uncovered the cosmic catastrophe. Chan Thomas, Charles Hapgood, they're all part of this narrative. And we're going to get to the bottom of it at LeCon Gaia 4/4/20 at the Gaia Sphere in Boulder, Colorado. Now, this is one of the most elite scientific conferences to date. You're not going to get information like this anywhere. No one is going to go out on a limb here, and the security will be high. Once again, the hockey stick graph, a total fraud. We'll laugh at it time immemorial at that conference. It might even be our main flag. We'll fly it outside and light it on fire. Because the past is the key to the future, none of this hockey stick is real, and most of this data has been adulterated up to this point. But there's a reason for it, and we're going to get to the bottom of it. Just like this paper is just touching the tip. If they ever saw our first episode, they would know that people already know what they've concluded just this year. The issue of global warming and climate change has been popular since the 80s. In the media and politics, when environmentalists claim the Earth is in danger due to rising of temperatures, which is because of human activities, particularly emissions of carbon dioxide through burning of fossil fuels. Now, what they failed to realize is that 99% of all global warming gases is water vapor, and that carbon dioxide is barely a fart in the wind, and that cows actually fart out more carbon dioxide than humans do. So why we're not taxing cows is beyond anyone. And the fact that the oceans emit 9,000 times more CO2 than humans do in a single moment, single second, and why we're not taxing the oceans is crazy. Why aren't we cooling the oceans? Why don't we just start putting ice cubes in the oceans? How come they're not talking about that? The amount of carbon the oceans will sequester at that point is immeasurable. Anyway, This argument was taken up by the UN Environmental Program Forum, the IPCC, and the IPCC published several reports on global warming and climate change, focused very alarming picture of climate change. Since the 90s, there are two groups of scientists. One support the IPCC assessment and human-induced cause of global warming, while the other group disagrees 100% with the IPCC and projected figures, and considers them overstated, fabricated, and manipulated based on computer models. And they consider warming due to natural processes well within natural variability. And we do too. And then there's schmucks like Nobel laureates that have no business talking about climatology because they don't have expertise in it, coming to the forefront and saying, oh my God, there's no escaping Earth. We only have one planet and we're all destroying it. Well, we are. We're destroying it with actual pollution. These are caustic chemicals, toxic chemicals, fertilizers, pesticides, and other chemicals pumping out of smokestacks at chemical factories that are not CO2. But we are worried about plant food, not the actual killers, not the ones that made Utah's air impossible to breathe for children, and they're just going to kill thousands of people in that city early. It has nothing to do with plant food, has everything to do with pollution, and nothing to do with you. It has everything to do with multinational corporations producing 99% of all the toxic chemicals that are making you die early. Human life expectancy in North America has turned a cusp. We are now losing time. We are dropping in life expectancy because you, the voter, the schmuck, the idiot, the sheep, care about carbon dioxide, not about actual pollution. Hello? BPAs are killing you, and you care about carbon dioxide. Let's talk about cop killers. Frank Ordonez, GoFundMe. Give $10. Do it now. He was murdered by cops in a shootout in Miramar, Florida, because he was a hostage. This is not how police operate. Read the story. Police should not open fire on innocent civilians that are being held hostage. And that's what they did here. If these cops do not get hung for murder, then hello. Yeah, it's coming. We're coming for you. When this revolution occurs, you better put down your badge. You better take off your pin if you're in Congress, because we're coming. And I will not be bumming. I'll be in the front of the line. Trust me. Now, this is what we do with trash in India, because they're so environmentally conscious there as they rape half of the female population. Because that's part of the way they do it in India. It's amazing. They're all vegetarians. They care about cows as they rape children.
உயிர் வாழ ஆதாரமாய் நீரினை நாம் சேமிக்க தவறி மற்ற மாநிலங்களிடம் கையேந்தும் நிலைதான் தற்போது வரை ஓரிரு மாதங்கள் முன்பு நீரின்றி தவித்த தமிழகத்திற்கு வரம் கிடைத்தது போல் பொழிந்த மாரியை மதிக்காமல் மீண்டும் மற்ற மாநிலத்திடம் கையேந்துவதற்கு தயாராகிக் கொண்டிருக்கிறோம் என்பதை கசப்பான உண்மை.
River. This is what happens every day. Look at that. And look at everyone's like, wow, awesome. I love
நீங்கள் தற்போது காண்பது கடலூர் மாவட்டம் திட்டக்குடி வெள்ளாற்றில் பல நாட்களாக தேக்கி வைத்திருந்த குப்பைகளை ஆற்று நீரில் கொட்டும் காட்சி.
Come on, I got you. We're about to get rid of it all. Making money. Capitalism's awesome. But you better pay your CO2 tax, food. Because this has nothing to do with it. This has nothing to do with the plastics in the ocean. It's everyone's fault in North America that uses a straw. Couldn't possibly be this. I'm sick of it. Natural climate variability. Here what we have is an overlay of the GISP2 data, which everyone says is local and it doesn't mean anything. And this is overlaid by ocean sediments in Batajana, the ice core in Vostok in Antarctica, and the Epica original Antarctic ice cores. So this is all the proxy data for the entire planet for the last 500,000 years. And guess what? It all matches exactly the same. There is no localized effect of climate. Anyone who claims that the GISP2 is localized is full of shite because it directly corroborates every single other proxy data on the planet. And if you don't know what paleoclimatology is, it was an actual science before 1980 where we knew exactly what was happening with the planet, and we had uncovered the cosmic catastrophe that happens every 100,000 years. But guess what? That was hidden. It was hidden in the 50s. It was crushed in the 80s. And I wasn't allowed to continue my work because I was about to uncover something spectacular, which I still uncovered as an out-of-university scientist. And I still believed it. I never forgot it. And I'm still here shoving it down your neck. All of the proxy data agree there is a catastrophe every 100,000 years. The big catastrophe is not coming this cycle, but it is a catastrophe because they happen every 6,600 years as part of the Yucca cycle, as part of the precession of the equinoxes. And I'm getting a call from Rex Bear, so I got to go on live right now, finishing up my podcast. So I'm going to get on live with him, and we're going to finish this up. Thanks for watching the video. Hope you got something out of it. Before we leave, we're going to give you 4 minutes of the most awesome young teenager on the planet from Germany.
Thank you so much for having me. So I used to be a climate change alarmist myself because obviously as a young girl, I grew up around the climate change hysteria. I grew up with it in the media, in my school books and on TV. And I was the first one to, whenever my beliefs were questioned, I was the first one to ask the question, so are you saying that you are a climate change denier? And of course, especially as a German girl, the word denier carries a lot of weight. And today, I consider it an atrocious insult. But back then, I didn't think about that. And I was an innocent young girl, and I thought that by hugging the trees, I could save the planet, which quite frankly turned out not to be true. And I took pride in buying paper bags instead of plastic bags, but I didn't really make a change. Then eventually, in 2015 roughly, I became a skeptic, and at first not with regards to climate science, but rather with regards to the migration crisis in Germany. And once you start exploring these political topics that are more on the right, I guess, or in the libertarian department, things spiral out of control, and you go down the path of understanding that many topics such as feminism, gender, socialism, postmodernism, and climate change hysteria, they are all related in some way and pave the way for a very bad kind of totalitarianism. And I'd always loved science as well, so naturally I had to become a climate change denier, a skeptic. Science, you see, is entirely based on intellectual humility, and it is important that we keep questioning the narrative that is out there instead of promoting it. And these days, climate change science really isn't a science at all. Those self-proclaimed scientists, we've heard it today, they draw their conclusions before even testing their hypothesis, and they...
This woman is a genius. Please watch her entire presentation at the Heartland Institute. She is a hero. I wish that she would do a debate with Greta Thunberg, and we should all call for this because she has the big picture. This young lady has the big picture. She was indoctrinated and was one of the youngest people to be indoctrinated early. She saw through the mire. That's how thick it is. Come check out the whole presentation. She is absolutely a hero. And watch the interview that's happening right now with Rex Bear and I over at Leak Project. And that's a boom. LeakCon, April 4th, 2020, Gaiasphere. Cosmic cover-up. If you want to know why they're holding this information, why the global warming ruse, why the narrative, Join us in Boulder. It will be eye-opening. Thanks to all of our one-time donors, all of our Patreons, all of our new Patreons, all of our subscribers. You know who you are. Share this video. Share this video. If you want to stick your foot up there, share this video. We love each and every one of you. Be safe. See you at Leak Project tonight.